Black Shuck is a folktale that hails from Norfolk and the surrounding areas in the UK. Now, we've all heard of devil dogs, demon dogs, Cerberus, and other ancient mythological stories. So sit back and enjoy the Black Shuck. The first sighting of the Black Shuck took place on August the 4th, 1577. It was on a Sunday. The local people were in church praying, and there was a torrential storm going on outside, and people were really scared. But little did they know at the time, worse was to follow. Now the congregation were knelt in fear. The weather was that bad. They were scared for their lives. As they knelt there and they were praying for salvation, a large black dog appeared. They likened it to a hellhound, and it started a rampage around the church, supposedly killing a man and a boy. Then, as fast as it came, it disappeared out the door. There is a written account by a Reverend Abraham Fleming in 1577. He said how the Satan-like beast came running along down the body of the church with great swiftness and incredible haste, all among the people, in a visible form and shape, wringing the necks of two parishioners as they knelt. Now, how much of this is true? It is a legend, so we have to be wary. We don't have to go back to the annals of history for a more recent sighting of the Black Shuck. In fact, we only have to go back to 1972, and it actually came from a very reliable source. Now, this Coast Guard was on duty one morning. It was the early hours and just becoming light, and he saw something that he described as deeply puzzling. He told people, looking to the north at about 4:45 a.m. at daybreak on Wednesday, last April the 19th, I saw a large black hound type dog on the beach about a quarter of a mile north of the lookout. What made me look was the dog was running, then stopping as if looking for someone. I watched it for 1 or 2 minutes and then it vanished before my eyes. I kept looking and looking and looking, but it did not reappear. The Coast Guard also went on to explain that that particular stretch of beach had recently been flattened by bulldozers, so there was no restrictions at all to his view. He also further went on to explain that he'd recently only moved to Norfolk and he had no idea about the folktale The Black Shuck. His friends later told him over a drink in the pub one night. The Coast Guard's account isn't the only one from more modern history. One local woman said she'd seen the Black Shuck early one summer morning in the 1950s near Cromer when returning home from a dance. And a Suffolk man also said he'd seen the dog one evening on the marshes near Felixstowe. And a newspaper report from Essex said a midwife who had been cycling home after a delivery during the 1930s claimed she was followed by the creature through the lanes near Tollershunt, Darcy. She added that the dog was huge and no matter how fast she pedalled, it seemed to effortlessly keep up with her. The apparition, which remained silent throughout, then suddenly vanished. During an archaeological dig at Leighton Abbey in Suffolk in 2013, the skeleton remains of a very large dog were found amongst the ruins. The bones, which were said to belong to a male dog, suggested that the animal stood around 7 feet in height with an estimated weight of 200 pounds. The grave in which the bones were found by the archaeological team were approximately 20 inches deep and had no obvious markings attached to it. Pottery fragments found at the same dig level were dated to the 16th century. Of course, it's undoubtedly the case that the skeleton belonged to a large dog, possibly a Newfoundland, which could have been kept at the Abbey at the time. The press ran wild with the story, claiming that the bones of the Black Shuck had been found, and to add credence to it, and for the support of the story, they added that it must be the Black Shuck because of the pottery found, it being 16th century, and this first sighting of the Black Shuck being in the 16th century. Of course it must be that. They never offered any alternatives, like I've done earlier on in the story, about it being a Newfoundland. So, just in case the stories are true and you happen to be wandering along and see something strange and it scares you half to death, This is how the black shuck is described. The name Shuck derives from the Old English word Shuka, meaning devil dog, evil spirit, or devil fiend. The way the black shuck looks also varies. Most legends describe the dog as having large red eyes, but sometimes just one. Its head is as large as a saucer. It has thick, shaggy black fur and a snarling mouth. But, most importantly, he is supposed to be an omen of doom. So, what do you all think? A great little legend or the truth? I don't know. I do believe that the eyewitnesses think they saw something, and probably did. But was it the black shuck? We'll probably never know. But it does go down as a good story, and I've enjoyed learning about it and finding out, and I hope you enjoyed the video too. Please like and subscribe if you did, and I really appreciate you watching. Thank you very much. Take care. Bye.